Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Are you tired of grinding away to make money, feeling like you need to clone yourself to make your business a success? I know, I was once there too, working 12 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week with no me time and totally overwhelmed. I knew there had to be an easier and more fun way to make massive money. And that's when I discovered passive income. Fast forward years later, and now I consistently make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year while I sleep and with little of my time. My Lord, is this a freeing and empowering feeling. It's my mission and passion to teach all of you to do the same. So I created the exclusive ProjectME Passive Income Posse, where I directly teach you how to incorporate passive income streams into your life and business. If you desire the same financial freedom I've created, message me on Instagram or Facebook at ProjectME with Tiffany, and I will send you the group application requirements. We're keeping this group small so everyone gets customized guidance and attention. All right, now back to today's episode. Welcome to the ProjectME podcast and posse. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, and this topic today has me all sorts of fired up. All right, you may have heard me vent about it several times in my Instagram stories or even on Instagram TV, but there's a reason for it. It's because this particular thing is causing more entrepreneurs or people who want to start a business to quit before anything ever really happened. So it's time to get over imposter syndrome and the saturated market excuse. So here's what I gather. You know, when I go through my DMs and my messages, I have all sorts of things that happen in there, right? All sorts of stuff goes down in the DMs. I get a lot of business questions, which are great. I get a lot of beautiful compliments from you guys. Thank you so much. And then I get, questions about working with me and how to work with me, how to get into the posse, all sorts of stuff like that. But I also get these messages that really tug at my heartstrings. And it's, I really want to be a fitness coach. I really want to teach online yoga classes. I really want to use my experience in wellness and teach meditation, but the market is so saturated. There are so many other people doing this, and these people are years ahead of me or have this credential or that degree or this training, and there's no room in the market for me. It's already so saturated. And you know what? You're right. A lot of these markets are saturated. The beauty industry is over $100 billion industry, you guys. So the health and wellness industry, we're way up in the hundreds of billions of dollars. And I'm talking about per year. So yes, of course it's saturated because there's money to be made. And wherever there's money to be made, you're going to have more saturation, right? It's just how it is. So what's important to people? Vanity, looking good, feeling good. So yeah, those particular spaces are going to be saturated, right? That's nothing new. It was saturated 10 years ago too, right? I mean, we could look at what I do as a business and money coach, right? We could look at what I do and say, well, that's saturated. There's a lot of people who teach business. There's a lot of people who teach strategy, money, passive income. I mean, hell, Tony Robbins has been doing it for decades, right? And he's Tony Robbins. So I could sit here and go, well, I wasn't going to start my business because wouldn't everyone just go to someone like a Tony Robbins? Right? Who's been doing it for decades and has, hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions, following him and going to his events. That didn't even cross my mind. And here's why. There is room in the market for all of us. We each learn and we absorb from a different type of person and personality. Okay. Like I learn really well from people who communicate using humor, who are direct, who are not vague, and who I trust, respect, and admire. Okay, so that's who I learn from. Some people don't love more of a direct, blunt approach. It jars them. Maybe it triggers them from a parent in childhood or, a bossy sister or something, and it doesn't work for them, right? They need someone who is more slow, super extra nurturing, has a softer tone of voice. Everyone is different. And that's why there's room for you, because the right people, your ideal customer, your ideal clients, they're going to want you and your style. As long as you're being authentically you and you're not trying to pretend to be Tiffany, or you're not trying to pretend to be some fitness influencer or some wellness influencer or some business money guru person. You're actually being yourself. You're going to attract, like I repeat all the time, like attracts like. You're going to attract clients who are similar to you and learn from people that have your similar teaching style and approach, right? So let's use an analogy, because those of you who are loyal listeners know I freaking love analogies. And let's take an easy one, right? Let's look at working out. There are so many different classes you can take. There's all these little niche gyms all around, especially here in LA. And I, for example, am not a CrossFit person. I am not a CrossFit ideal client. I'm not someone they should target. It doesn't appeal to me. I don't like boot camp style, hardcore joint pounding type exercise. It is not my thing, but that doesn't mean there's not hundreds of thousands, obviously millions of other people where that's their thing, right? So my thing is I need to have fun. The music needs to be amazing. It needs to be enjoyable for me. Yeah, I want it to be challenging, but it can't be grueling, because that has gotten me in trouble in the past. There's a reason that my knees crack every time I go upstairs and anytime I get up from sitting. It's because I've done those gnarly boot camp style pounding my body things for so long. It just doesn't resonate with me. So there's room for you. Maybe your approach, right? Your approach to teaching people how to lose weight after their first pregnancy, or how to teach moms how to lose weight, or how to teach dads to get rid of the dad bod, or whatever it is. It's your approach. There might be many other people, likely there are many other people doing it, but they're not doing it in your way. As long as you don't feel that pull, right, which is the imposter syndrome, where you have to go copy or mimic someone else who's been in the space, for several years or even a decade, that is having great success. I get it. Right. I do. I get it. It can be tempting. It's like, well, I want to have success in whatever space I do, right? Whether you're an author, whether you want to be an influencer, whether you're into fashion, whatever it is, golf, you name it. And you want to have success quickly. I mean, who doesn't, right? And you want to do it, quote unquote, right. So then the next logical thing, a human does is, well, let's go look and research and do market research on other people who appear to be doing it right, meaning they have lots of customers, they have lots of followers, highly engaged accounts, they have lots of views. So they must know something, right? I mean, they're obviously appealing to people. So I'm going to go see what they're doing. And then here's where the disconnect comes, because that's great. I tell all of my private clients, and I also share and teach it in my ProjectME posse, my exclusive group. I want you to do market research in your niche and see what types of content is getting the most engagement. Look at the feedback on these accounts that have lots of feedback, right? When you're just starting and you're growing, you're not going to have a whole ton of feedback because you don't have a shit ton of people watching your stuff yet or engaging with you yet. So I want you to do that research. The issue is when you start changing what feels authentically good to you and good in your soul and what feels right to you, what you feel called to do, and you start tweaking and changing it after looking at this market research, right? I'm okay with you going, oh, it seems like my target customer really likes having, short workouts versus like an hour-long workout or even a half an hour. They want like 10-minute quickie workouts. Okay, now you can take that information and you can test it in your own audience, have some longer workouts, test the 10-minute workouts. That's okay, right? That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is you do the same style, sequence, wording as this other person or these other people. Well, you're going to only do well if you stand out. And the only way you stand out is actually being you, because being you is what's different. Nothing else is different. You don't have some special exercises that are unique to the world. I hate to break it to you. You don't. Like, maybe if you're really, really creative, maybe you've come up with one that like no one's seen before because it's so whack. And that's great. And you want to capitalize on that, right? Like maybe you have like a go-to move, all right? And like I do, I have certain techniques and strategies that I've branded and I've not seen anyone else do them, right? And that's great. And you market the shit out of those. That's wonderful. But most of the stuff people teach, they've heard it in one way, shape, or form, or seen it somewhere else. The difference is they've not heard and seen it from you. And that is what is the unique point. So when you start going down this imposter syndrome shit, when you're scrolling, when you go down the path of, oh my God, I would, if it were me, I would, go buy this person's program or this person's course, this person's book. I would hire this person as a coach because look at how many testimonials they have and look at how many followers they have. And oh my God, their website is so pretty and cool. And they just have so many awesome videos. Oh my God, how could I ever compete with that? Won't people just go to them? No. I'll give you an example. I've hired on my team for ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, my second company, the people who are on my team supporting my business. When I hired them, none of them had anywhere near even 10,000 followers. In fact, I don't even think any of them had 5,000. And one of those people is my social media manager. And you'd be like, why in the hell, Tiffany, would you hire a social media agency? But she's the owner, and that's who I wanted to work with, was direct with the owner. Why would you hire a social media person, manager, that doesn't have a shit ton of followers? Because I know from being in business a long time that the first thing you neglect when you're a really good business person is usually your own shit, is your own branding, is your own stuff, because you're so busy helping customers. Okay. And I get that. So that didn't matter to me. What mattered to me is someone's drive, their value, how excited they are about what I'm doing, that they use the same premise and principle as me, which is always over-deliver to the point where your client is so freaking happy to pay you every month. That's how I operate. That's a huge part of my success, is over-delivering. I always say yes, right? Now, unless it's something that really crosses my boundaries or something like that. But I say yes, or I'll say, you know what? I'm not sure, but I'm going to figure it out. Like, let's figure it out. I don't say, oh no, that's not in the scope of my work, or no, that's outside of our contract, or I don't say that. That doesn't get you repeat business, right? So I look for people who have the same integrity, passion, and business principles as me. So it didn't matter to me. I could have hired, right? Because I am self-funded, my first company, my 7-figure business, that can fund me hiring, right, some big booming agency, or maybe someone who has millions of followers. I don't care. That's not what I was looking for, right? I mean, I respect that growth and I respect that, but I don't need that. For example, another one. At the gym, right? I've had personal trainers most of my life. In high school and college, I did sports, soccer and tennis. And did I hire the most fit coach? Now, look at most of the coaches. If any of you guys watch sports on TV, I mean, I got to tell you, a lot of the coaches don't look like they ever work out, especially when you're looking at like NFL or baseball. They don't look like they ever work out. And they're some of the best coaches in the entire world. Same with golf. Like, when was the last time you heard of a golf coach who outperforms their student? Well, if they did, they would be on the damn pro league themselves. They wouldn't be coaching, right? So you don't have to have someone who is the best of the best in order for you to want to hire them. But I'm here to remind you of this. I feel like you guys need to take this episode and refer back to it when you start down that path. You're having a down week, a bad month, a bad day, and hear my voice in terms of this imposter syndrome. It doesn't matter that you don't have a degree. Obviously, if you are in a certain field where a degree is required by law, okay, that's a different story, right? You can't go and say you're a lawyer and not like pass the bar exam, okay? So I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is this whole thing of how could I even enter this marketplace starting from scratch when so many people are ahead of me? Because that's where they started too. Remember, I only started, as of the time you're listening to this episode, Project Me with Tiffany Carter only started 10 months ago. That's it, 10 months ago. So I saw that there was a hole in the marketplace within my niche of there not being coaches and mentors that talked about money mindset, business strategies, how to grow and make passive income so you're not dependent on any person, place, or thing for money. I saw a hole that there weren't coaches who were just blunt and giving you true actionable steps and telling you like it is. What I noticed is people have these great titles for programs, courses, even events. You get there, you buy the thing, you listen, you download the thing, and it's like you maybe got one small tidbit and the rest was just fluff. And that irritated me. It's like, just tell me how you did the damn thing already. Like, why is it such a secret? I saw that hole because I knew if I found it annoying and I didn't like it, then there had to be a lot of people out there who also didn't. And I was right. So look at what is it about your industry or your niche that irritates people. And you know, because it's irritated you. What is it about the fitness industry? What is it about coaching? What is it about books? What is it about whatever it is, network marketing, you name it. And say, okay, yeah, this does annoy me. Is there a way I can do this and fill that hole and do it in a different way? And you're naturally going to do it in a different way just by being fucking you. The problem is so many of us are afraid to be ourselves because we think it won't work. We think we have to mimic someone who's already successful. And it's not fucking true. I don't know if I finished my full thing in terms of having fitness trainers. I went down the whole path of like NFL coaches and stuff. When I look back at all the trainers that I've had, okay, in, gym trainers, I didn't hire the person with the best body. In fact, the people who had these amazing bodies where it felt too far out of reach for me, it actually intimidated me. It didn't make me feel good. It actually made me go, holy shit, like this person's probably going to be really intense because I know to like get that lean and look like that, like I'm going to have to like eat boiled chicken and broccoli for the rest of my life. And it didn't look realistic or sustainable to me. So it turned me off. So look around your gym the next time you're there. You'll see trainers of all shapes and sizes. I mean, you certainly probably shouldn't hire a trainer that's like smokes or has a giant gut or something like that. But I think you get my point. And I want you guys to also reach out, like DM me at ProjectME with Tiffany or message me at ProjectME with Tiffany on Facebook. Instagram's the best space to get me, but if you're not an Instagram person, hit me up on Facebook and let me know. Say, you know what, Tiff, my mind is like really having a block. There are I want to do this thing and there's so many people doing it. And I'll respond to you and tell you why you should do it. You're not going to hear me say, no, you shouldn't do it. I'm not going to bullshit you. I'll say, yeah, it's very saturated, right? It's very saturated. I mean, look at how many freaking juices, like green juices there are now. That never was a thing. No one would have drank green juice before. I mean, we're drinking salad for Christ's sake, right? No one would have done that before. Now it's a thing. You go into Whole Foods, you can go into like, a regular grocery store in countries all over the world, and there is a shit ton of green juice brands, green juice stores, and there's room for all of them, isn't there? Now, do all of them make it? No. But not all businesses make it. In fact, most businesses don't make it for quite a few reasons, and that's another episode, right? But there is room on the shelf. Look at cereal. I mean, go in the cereal aisle. Go in the coffee aisle. It's out of control, right? And those are just a small fraction of the brands because there's so many other brands that are sold online. There is room for you, but you better be you and have a story and be unique. And you've got to let go of that imposter syndrome. If this episode gave you a good kick in the ass today and helped you kind of snap out of it, what I really need you guys to do, I love when you take screenshots and share. That's awesome. And I really appreciate those. What the show really, really needs is for you guys to go on iTunes and do a 5-star written review on the show. I'm going to do a screen recording and put it in my highlights on Instagram so that if anyone doesn't know how to write a review, I'll have it in there so you can see how to do it in real time. Or all you have to do is Google it, and it's really, really clear how to do it. It takes 90 seconds tops, and that really will help elevate the show. And it also helps us be able to keep this show going and this amazing free content, because it's not free for us to put together a show of this high quality and this level. And those iTunes reviews are like essential for podcast growth. Like it or not, it is what it is, and I need your help. So if you guys really want to show the love, I would so appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, wishing you guys great health, wealth, and worth. Talk to you soon. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.